gonna die. Going too fast. I'm taking 3.
I'm going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your 2?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we're going to take another look at the Scharhorst, but obviously there has been some new releases in ships, and some new announcements in ships as well, so we should most definitely talk about that first of all, right off the bat. So, German battleships have been released as of today. Fantastic. Very excited for it. Actually, you know, I was very excited for it. Because after I got to thinking and, you know, looking at the German battleships and whatnot, they're all very slow up until tier 7, so I don't think I'm going to enjoy them very much until I get into the guys now. And the guys now is going to be a nice little improvement over the Scharhorst, in that the guys now, it's, you know, if you didn't notice, she has the double barrel guns of higher caliber, and so you're actually going to be able to do some pretty decent armor piercing damage with those guns, so I'm really looking forward to the guys now, frankly. And then obviously Bismarck is going to be great. She doesn't have torpedoes, we know, but she does have better secondary armament, which isn't too bad at all. And then we move into tier 9 and tier 10 categories, which just become crazy monsters. I mean, much like the size of the Montana and the Yamato, the Scharhorst is going to be, you know, it's just massive. But anyway, I didn't have any, you know, with regards to German battleships, didn't have any free experience saved up for them whatsoever. I mean, obviously I knew they were coming out and all of that, but yeah, I wasn't looking to save free experience so that I could just bump my way up through. I was still really focused on getting that tier 9 Russian cruiser, which actually I'm, you know, still trying for now. It's just spending some money here on the German battleships. But I did play the Nassau. Now, the Nassau isn't too bad of a battleship, to be totally honest. I mean, I guess I could say I didn't really enjoy her too much at tier 3, but what can you really say about a tier 3 battleship, right? I mean, she can't hit the broadside of a barn at 1 kilometer away. She's fairly slow. She do have some decent armor on her, though, I found. You know, not too bad, and definitely competitive ship at tier 3 anyway. As we know as well, today being the release of the German battleships, the queue time, or the amount of battleships in queue, is outlandish, so queue times are a little wonky, but we'll muster through it anyway because I really wanted to get playing them. Now, the Nassau does look very, very nice. I really do like the look of the Nassau, and historically, from a historical standpoint, in my interest, I really like having these 3D models of the early German battleships, and all of them really, to be able to look at, right, and to be able to see and actually you know, see in color with a lot more detail than what you can see in the limited photos available that, you know, surrounding the German high sea fleet at the time, and as well, most of those would be in black and white, if not all, obviously. But the Nassau looks pretty nice. Now, moving into tier 4, I managed to get myself into tier 4 today. Probably won't get to tier 5, but we'll see. At tier 4, we have the Kaiser. The Kaiser is an interesting battleship due to the placement of the 2 midship turrets, right? We have one on port and one on starboard. The one on port seems to be right, the port and starboard turrets that are midship are off center of each other. Now, yes, you can actually swing the turret around depending on what side, port or starboard, you're shooting from. You can swing the turret and fire all 5 turrets at the same target, which is pretty nice. And actually, I you know, I had my first battle in the Kaiser, and I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't too underwhelmed with it, right? I actually did enjoy the battle. It went decently enough. I liked her in that, you know, her dispersion was a little more manageable than that of the Nassau, and on top of that as well, the guns seemed to hit with a lot more oomph than the Nassau as well. So, you know, racking up some pretty serious damage. Now, you can do some serious damage in that Nassau, though. Don't get me wrong. As long as the guns hit, you can do some serious damage there. But still, nice upgrade into the Kaiser. Obviously, I'm looking forward to the conning at tier 5, and then tier 6, I forget what it's called, and then tier 7 we move to the guys now. So really looking forward to it. The next announcement that ships had for us today, which was a very, very nice surprise, I must say, very excited. The British cruisers. Now, obviously, right, they're just mentioning it, so the British cruisers most likely are months away, if not, well, I wouldn't say a year away, obviously, but months away. Well, we know that for sure, right? But very excited to finally see them being announced. We got a look at the names of the ships. We don't have any numbers to work with, obviously, because there's going to be balancing there involved, right? But we do know the names and the classes that we're going to be working with. A class that stuck out for me was, I believe it's the Tier 6 British cruiser. It's called the Leander class. Why this sticks out for me is nothing to do with the ship whatsoever. It's just merely, I have a personal friend back from my hometown. His name is Leander. We all call him Lee, and obviously he hates being called Leander, so we like to call him Leander whenever we get the chance, and it's just reminds me of that, and it's hilarious. Something I am looking forward to is the Fiji class cruiser. I do think that that's going to be an interesting cruiser to play in. I believe the Fiji class is sitting at Tier 7, but I can't quite recall exactly where they're sitting. But another nice announcement here from ships as well, so can't wait to finally get more British Navy in here. It's going to be phenomenal, those British cruisers. Anyway, getting into the battle, into the Scharhorst. Now, I believe we're on Warrior's Path. Was that the battle that we're on? Maybe. But the Scharhorst. We did do our Scharhorst video yesterday. A bit of a, I guess, review on her there. But, she's a great ship, and I've been playing her a lot. Figured what the hell, why not take another gander at her here as well. Especially since, I've more or less figured out how to play the ship at this point. If you recall from the first video I put up yesterday, I was shooting a lot of armor piercing out of the Scharhorst because I wasn't quite used to the idea of battleships firing HE. But now, now that I've got it in me, that even though it says BB and I've got a BB symbol, it's actually a cruiser, and I'm going to be firing high explosive. The high explosive is, really paying off here in this battle so far. So you can see my team has managed to cap the B zone, which isn't too bad at all, and we are working towards the C zone as well, which is excellent. The majority of my team as well is located in and around B, which is great because this provides the defense, right, of the two caps that we're eventually going to have once our destroyer finishes capping out, which isn't too bad at all. Now, the Scharhorst itself, we do see some of the AA in action in this game, but it's not too significant, right? I mean, the German cruisers definitely get better AA as you work up the tiers, and so do the battleships. But here at Tier 7, it's still more or less, maybe adequate, subpar, maybe words to describe it. In terms of just defending against aircraft, right? You can pretty much count on using it in order to defend against incoming aircraft, against yourself, but that's going to be limited aircraft as well. If an aircraft carrier decides to do an all-out assault on you with all the assault aircraft that the player has, you're probably going to have a bit of an issue. But the AA, it's there, it's adequate. I mean, even in this game, as long as you remember to, control click those air groups as they're coming in, you should do a bit of damage to those air groups and at least throw off their aim. One thing as well that we should mention here about the Scharhorst, and it plays into the idea that, the fact that the Scharhorst, was kind of a battle cruiser. I'll say surface raider, because that would apply to everything that is fast, right? So surface raider, we'll say. Her armor isn't so great, right? So you really do want to limit your broadsides that you're exposing to players. Now, this really does go without saying with most ships, but with the Scharhorst, you do want to be careful because it can run you into some problems very early on in the battle as well, because where you are so fast, and if you are a cruiser and you're maybe not necessarily used to playing her too much, you might be inclined to get in there real close, and if people are firing armor piercing at you, presenting broadsides, you are presenting broadsides to them, things can go south really, really quick. So you do want to keep this in mind. Captain abilities, I've been thinking, I'm still running the Tirpitz captain on her right now, so this captain is spec'd out for secondary armament. which is good. I mean, the secondary armament on the Scharhorst, is nothing to laugh at. It's pretty decent. But I have been thinking about getting a dedicated captain, working on getting a dedicated captain for the Scharhorst, simply because I think that I'd want to spec my captain more like I have my Russian cruisers spec'd out, in that, obviously it's main guns and demolition expert, and then maybe even some of the AA abilities as well. Not sure on that one, still have to think about it, but there's options there, and still not regretting the purchase on the Scharhorst, which is pretty great. One thing also I forgot to mention right up at the beginning as well is I've been running into a lot more subscribers in game, which is fantastic, and you guys are always quick to give me a quick hello, which is very appreciated. Thank you so much. And it's great to see, actually, because the channel has grown. I think we've grown more in the last month than we ever have before, which is really, really quite great. Doing good on that front. I'm happy with it, which is, always great. And just means, means that there's going to be more quality content. I'll use quality loosely. More quality content coming out in the future, right? Because obviously it's just spurring me on to produce more and more goods for you. So thank you so much, for everyone who sees me in game as well, and gives me a quick hello. Always appreciated. I'm sorry that for most of you who saw me in game, you quickly say hello to me, and I say, yeah, hello, yeah, great to see you, blah blah, and then I quickly died. So. Sorry. One instant actually does come up to mind. Ooh, I'm gonna get the player's name wrong. Lovestock? Can't quite remember. But anyway, if you're watching, you know who I'm talking about. We are on Islands of Ice in the rune. I was trying to push forward into an enemy cap. No one was helping me out here, and then out of nowhere comes one of the subscribers, also in a rune, I believe, and just says, Thotgor, follow me. So I, do a quick roundabout, and we just push into there and took the cap. I mean, I died in the process, and I left the battle. But if the player's name was Lovestock, I'm sorry. Sent me a message afterwards letting me know that we did actually win, and it was a good push that he and I was able to do there. So excellent, good result there. So again, thank you all so much just for giving me a quick hey in game. It's always nice to see, and always good to run into some subscribers, right? Always great. Anyway, I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Figure we'll just throw it in here into the middle. So you can see as the battle has progressed, my team, we still have a firm hold over C, but we are losing B. I've kind of grouped up with this friendly guys now here off on the port side, but you can see, I didn't want to continue too far out because, we were chasing down some enemy ships and we are in fact losing B. So I do really want to get in here into B and, help take back this point. Now we do have an enemy destroyer in the cap zone, but, Scharhorst being Scharhorst, high explosives already loaded into the barrels. The enemy destroyer's engines are gone, so it doesn't look like this player has too much of a hope, and in fact the player does not. We managed to take out the enemy Mahan, I believe, and we do secure the defense of B, which is fantastic, but we do still have some enemy ships in and around B that we're going to have to deal with. Now we have this enemy Colorado over here as well. There were so many times in this game that I really struggled not to switch over to my armor piercing, but I did actually want to make the effort in this game to make sure that I only loaded the high explosive, because I really wanted to show what the Scharhorst can do with the high explosive. I did feel bad about yesterday's video, actually. I had the things I wanted to talk about, and I totally forgot about the high explosive. So we'll do a whole video on it today, just to make up for it. But it really, really does work. The Scharhorst more and more is reminding me of like a Nuremberg and or the Königsberg, just without the armor piercing ability, right? It's that quick, rapid fire. I know the cannons are in reverse from those two cruisers, but it's just, the quick, rapid fire. Get in there, get out, fire torpedoes if need be. Gameplay that just sort of reminds me of the two when we're talking about comparisons with other German cruisers. I know they're lower tier, but it's still pretty decent. Now we do have this North Carolina in front of us, and we're on pretty low health, so we got to do something about this. Now we're going to keep the high explosive loaded. I really did struggle not to put armor piercing in the barrel, especially when the North Carolina's giving the broadside. But anyway, I do throw off a round of torpedoes. Now we'll notice as well that on the other side of the island there is another enemy battleship. So we have 2 enemy battleships we're going to have to deal with, and I don't really have that much hit points, right? About 24 seconds remaining on my heal party here. We do have torpedoes going in and manage 1 torpedo hit on the enemy North Carolina. I'm trying to close the distance so that I can continue to use the island in front of me as cover against a second battleship. This does expose me right now to a broadside on this North Carolina, but luckily I only have to risk being shot by the 2 front cannons as opposed to all 3 turrets on the North Carolina. So there's that sort of mitigation taking place. Now one of my allies... no, sorry, the enemy battleship just popped out of sight. I thought one of my allies took out the enemy battleship, but no. Swinging around, we are going to line up our second set of torpedoes here off at the enemy North Carolina. There's no question now that those torpedoes are going to run into the North Carolina and as well take down the player. So there we go. We managed to take out the North Carolina. Fantastic. Now we do still have to deal with the enemy Colorado. So this was the second enemy battleship. Now, if I didn't have some allies nearby who are, you know, putting continuous fire into that enemy Colorado, that player could have came around and easily taken me out, and it'd be all over at this point in time. I do manage to run aground. Yeah, wasn't paying too much attention to that. We do have the enemy Colorado, though, realizing, you know, what's going on here and that I'm fairly vulnerable at this point in time. You can see the enemy Colorado is actually trying to turn in and do something about this. So enemy Colorado fortunately grounds himself as well. My torpedoes are not going to hit, but I do get the opportunity here to start putting in as much fire as I possibly can into the player and hopefully set a few fires in the meantime as well. Thankfully for myself as well, the enemy Colorado is more focused on my allies rather than me, which is great because this Colorado could look at me and kill me at this point in time. With the amount of hit points that I have and the amount of damage that those guns on the Colorado can do, yeah, it would be all over. Just one well-placed citadel hit and it's all over for me. Luckily, this doesn't happen, though. I'm able to reverse out of my little failure there into the island, and we're just going to get ourselves turned around. Now, I did manage to set a fire to the enemy Colorado, so we do see my damage numbers going up. That's why. So the enemy Colorado continues to burn. I'm trying to get myself into a position where I can start to fire in on the enemy Colorado and potentially get the kill here as well. In the meantime, I'm keeping an eye on the 2 enemy ships to my stern because I don't want to get, sniped out by these guys. They're enemy battleships. I'm within their range, so if they are paying attention and they have a shot on me, they might take it, and if I'm not paying attention, that shot might actually kill me. Put some rounds down range there for the enemy Colorado. We see in the distance we do still see this enemy Colorado, very low health. There we go. Player gets taken down by my fire, so fantastic, and battle is over. We managed to pull it off. Excellent. So we'll take a look at some of the numbers here as well, and just some of the earning potential here that you're looking at with the Scharhorst. Now the Scharhorst has already been coined the shiny horse because of the amount of credits that the ship is able to rake in. So you can see 541,000 credits, about 8,500 experience, 115,000 damage, which isn't too bad. About 4 kills as well. A few torpedo hits in there too, which is always great. 2,200 base experience, thereabouts, which isn't too bad at all. Top of the team overall as well. Win that gold experience thing and get myself 1 gold. Fantastic. We can see how the damage numbers broke down here. Obviously, most of the damage was to the enemy North Carolina. And then when all is said and done, I do end up walking away with about 458,000 credits, which isn't too bad at all. The Scharhorst is, basically on par with the Tirpitz. I think the Tirpitz, obviously being at tier 8, is capable of raking in more credits, but Scharhorst is nice to have at tier 7. Anyway, that is today's video. I do hope you're all enjoying your experience here with the German battleships, and look forward to the British cruisers. Leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Love reading those and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.